Welcome to this new session of Transplant International Podcast.
Hi, and welcome everyone. This is the Transplant International Podcast, your go-to source for the latest updates in the field of transplantation. I'm Nina Pilat, Deputy Editor-in-Chief of TI, and this marks our very first and inaugural episode of what we want to become a regular source for news of the transplant community. I'm delighted to be joined by one of our current editorial fellows, Dr. Antonio Citro from Milan, Italy. Hi, Antonio.
Hi, Nina. Thank you for the nice introduction, and I'm enthusiastic to take part of this fantastic initiative from Transplant International.
And what a way to launch today. We are honored to host Dr. Olivier Thaunat, the current president of the European Society for Organ Transplantation. Olivier is a professor of nephrology and clinical immunology from Lyon, France, and he is also a renowned scientist in the field of transplantation immunology himself. He joins us today to share his insights on leadership, the road ahead, and what enduring marks he aims to leave in our field. So, Olivier, it's a privilege to have you here today. You just started your terms as ESOT President for 2025 to 27. For our very first episode, we want to know, so what's the vision for the next 2 years? Maybe in a nutshell, as we prepared also lots of more detailed questions for you today.
Oh, it's a very interesting question. I will try to be brief. First, let me start by thanking, of course, you, Nina, and Antonio for the invitation. I'm a big fan of the work that is done by the team of Transplant International. I think that this journal is really evolving a lot, and it's a nice. You are representing your society, and I'm very proud of this. You asked me about the plan for the next 2 years. 2 years are quite short. As a president, you don't have much time to do things. But what I can tell you is that this idea of having a plan is something that you are not doing alone. And as an executive, I was part of the executive before becoming president. We have been thinking about that. And there is this, probably an ambitious strategic plan that has been designed and has been issued during the presidency of my friend Gabi Oniscu. And if I try to summarize and make it maybe not too boring, I would say that the plan is focusing on research and innovation, and I know you are keen on these particular topics. We will try to advance these two things that are very crucial in our field. We also want to expand education and knowledge exchanges. We would like to improve organizational effectiveness, of course, fostering trust and shared care, and try to influence the policy at the European level. Of course, this will also go with addressing global transplant health inequalities. So it's a quite ambitious plan. And if we manage to do that, I think we would put ESOT in a good position as a key driver of excellence, collaboration, and this is one of the goals. So what about the next 2 years, which are going to be my task? I would say I think that the problem is not so much the plan, which I really love and think very sound. The problem is to implement the plan in a fluctuating environment. And what I think will be key is to have the right mindset. We probably need to move a little bit away from a vision based on performance only, and try to be more robust. I can try to develop a little bit more, but what does it mean? It means to build a resilient governance structure. We need to be financially sustainable. We need to grow and develop partnerships. And that's the only way we will be able to absorb external variability. And for the people that are making ESOT, the members, which are the more important, it means that all of you needs to feel in charge, actually. You need to join us. You need to propose things. You need to contribute whenever you feel you're interested in something, or you need to propose things if you realize that what you would like ESOT to be is not exactly existing already. So I think it's already a lot to do for the next 2 years.
Yes, thank you. It sounds like a lot. It sounds very ambitious, but also amazing. And I think this is also a call to action to all our listeners and all the ESOT members to help us shape the future of transplantation here in Europe. And now our editorial fellows, they have been busy collecting all their burning questions that might be highly relevant to our listeners and the whole ESOT community, especially for the younger generation. So, Antonio, would you be so kind and kick off with our first question for Olivier's vision?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nina. So, Olivier, my first ice-breaking question from the editorial fellows is more or less on the general point, on the general question that you already answered, more or less. So, you begin your terms as the ESOT president from 2025 to 2027. So, what is the one sentence vision you would like to convey, and what is the first tangible action that the society has taken towards this direction?
Wow. Yeah, indeed. I think I'm going to repeat a little bit myself. You asked me to only give you one sentence. I already used two, I think. So let's try to focus. I think that I would come back to this concept of robustness. That was at the center of what we. That was the core concept around which we built the London Congress. And I like this concept a lot because, as I said before, we are living in a fluctuating environment. There is a lot of anxiety about all this. And the robustness is actually the first concept that I came across that is giving a little bit of hope that we can manage with this fluctuating environment. And if we look at nature, the fluctuating environment is constantly there, and that's the way. And if you want to survive in a changing environment, then you need to be robust, which means that you need to accept, and robustness goes against performance. And I think that in our society, in our world, in the world of transplantation, we are constantly pushed to be performant during those, when we study, when we work. And I think that if you stop 2 minutes and you start to realize that this performance is actually making you vulnerable to any change, and that robustness is the way nature is the way the nature has chosen to make sure that it will resist to this fluctuation, then you change to see your world, your professional world, in a different way. And I think that you asked me one sentence, I'll probably use already 20, but I want to stress on this concept of robustness. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that the reason why I'm doing that is that I really believe that's going to be the way we're going to be achieving the ambitious mission that we set for ourselves.
Oh, I think that's a great point. So it's the robustness and also the resilience that makes really the difference in the end. And also, so you already mentioned that we have to work together. And I think a little bit what our fellows wanted maybe to go with this question is we have so many different sections within ESOT. So everyone works in his own bubble. But as I understood you, it's also like time to find our strength in multidisciplinary research and clinics, of course.
That's absolutely that, Nina. You really understood the concept very well, and I think you put it in better word than I did. I think that this is a message of hope for everyone, because what robustness is telling us is that everybody is important, and that if we only rely on the president for the next 2 years, there is no ESOT, there is no robustness. It's not going to work. It cannot be a pyramidal organization where everything's coming on from the top, and that's not the way at all we need to work. We are all different. We all bring something, pieces of the puzzle, and the only way we are going to be robust and we're going to achieve our ambitious plan is that if everybody join and contribute and bring something. And so we need, exactly as ESOT is built, we need scientists, we need non-healthcare professional, we need everyone, we need patients. As you know, they have been they contribute to ESOT. We need the different type of physicians, like the surgeons, and we need the different type of organs. And this is why ESOT is so interesting and important, because it's already in its DNA to be robust. It's just about pushing the concept and making everyone aware that this is what we are. It's not something I invented at all. It's just something that I want to make obvious, but Yeah, because I think that sometimes we forget that. We try to be, we try to optimize everything. We try to focus on a single thing, and this is exactly what we need to move away from, I think.
Together we are way stronger than the sum of our parts. So there is this saying, exactly. I think, but yeah, I think also that's the best vision and plan to go ahead. Antonio?
Yeah. So I want just to continue in the concept of robustness. I mean, this is a very important point. And before diving in a very technical, sometimes question, I want to keep the point on general question too. So my question is, where is Europe outperforming in the world of transplantation today, and where we are in terms of behind, actually, in terms of to implement robustness, donation rates, equity of access, outcome, or innovation of adoptions?
Oh, that's another very tough question. I wasn't prepared for such a difficult task today. Well, I guess that I think that Europe has been doing globally extremely well in transplantation for a very long time. And I wouldn't be able to pick any single, thing where we would perform. I would say that globally we were doing very well. What is maybe more interesting and maybe more worrying is that I can see a sign that this is not forever. I mean, we need to be careful about that. I think that we need to realize that we have been doing well, very well, but that we cannot, just stop progressing. That's if we do that, it will stop and very, very soon. I'm just going to give you an example. I have the feeling, for instance, that there are threats. For instance, if you look at the xenotransplantation thing, that is the next big thing, or at least seems to be the next big thing, it's quite obvious that everything seems to come from the US and China right now, and that maybe we have missed something there, because what is even more striking was the fact that this new thing is built on foundation that come from Europe, at least some of them. If you look at the first mammal that was cloned, it was Dolly, it was in Scotland. If you look at the CRISPR-Cas9, which is this super efficient molecular size or tool to do genetic programming, this is a Nobel Prize that has been shared between Emmanuel Charpentier, with French but working in Germany, so very European, and Jennifer Doudna. So they are the core things were there, and there is no good reason for ESOT not to be part of the leading place in the world. But still, what we see is that we are lagging maybe a bit behind, and I see that as a warning. I don't think that the race is over, and I don't think that it's too late. It's just a sign that we probably need to realize that it's a constant effort. We cannot afford to stop and just rest, thinking that we are the best. Or if we do that, it's not going to last very long. So instead of directly answering your question, I would say that I don't think that we are outperforming anyone. I think we are really doing good things, and I don't think that we are lagging behind yet. But I can see that if we don't think carefully about what we want to do and where we want to do, if we are unable to implement the ambitious plan I was speaking before, we will be outperformed. So it's rather cool for us to invest time, effort, energy, to be creative, and to develop the future of transplantation together in Europe, because I think we have a lot of assets in Europe.
No, yeah, I mean, that's very important point. So you mentioned transplantation. So I'm really curious to make another question, but this is much more related to technology. And technology, regenerative medicine, I'm a fan of this kind of field. So from xenotransplantation, for example, to artificial organs, genome engineering, or immunoevasion therapies, the field is evolving really rapidly. A lot of results have been published so far. So from your point of view, maybe you already spoiled it, but which emerging technologies or scientific areas do you believe will most profoundly redefine transplantation in the next decades?
That's a very interesting question, and I have the feeling that I'm repeating myself since the beginning of this talk. But you know what? I think this is the clear illustration of what we were discussing before about robustness. I think that the mistake would be to point one and to decide that's going to be the one on which you invest everything. Because if you miss, then you lose everything. I think that there are clear. I was speaking about xenotransplantation 2 minutes ago, but I could have picked also regenerative medicine. I could have picked this fantastic work that's been published by in the New England about these iPS that have been modified to become beta cells and that help cure type 1 diabetes. I know that you know this work very well. And this actually was coming from Europe, by the way. So you see, we are not lagging behind in all the fields. And the beauty of it is that I think that being robust is about being able to make sure that you are actually investing in all the fields, because it's likely that all these things are going to be at one point complementary. Maybe there will be some kind of cross-fertilization. You can see, for instance, that the CRISPR-Cas9 or the way we do genetic engineering of mammals that helps to do xenotransplantation is actually something that is also used to modify the iPS to help them becoming beta cells or resistant to rejection. So I think that the future of transplantation is bright. Maybe in a few decades we will not do transplantation like we do it today, but it will be the future of transplantation could be this regenerative medicine, some kind of very sophisticated way of taking care of all patients, and maybe in a better way, solving the problem that I live with since I'm a young fellow in transplantation with this organ shortage. That would be amazing to be able to retire and not, and having this particular bit of problem being solved. That would be fantastic. And I think that regenerative medicine, xenotransplantation, one or the other, or maybe a mixture of the two. I like it. And again, being robust is about trying to invest all these fields that at one point might combine, and not making some prediction that are very risky, because if you miss, then you just lose basically, and you disappear.
That's a really, really nice way to put it. I also think I heard what you mentioned previously, that we need to combine our efforts. So all those different fields, they kind of interplay with each other and could help each other. It's like, I'm coming from the field of tolerance. And also here, I think, that the holy grail that we do not need any immunosuppressant drugs anymore for our patients. It's a really high goal. I'm not sure we will ever achieve, but to combine this with personalized medicine and reduction of immunosuppressive therapies, that's also a way to go, and a way that might even better than concentrates or the very extremes. So
Exactly.
I think this is the way not to lag behind, but to lead the field.
Exactly. I think that you put it again very right. I think that we have been doing as immunologists maybe some mistake where we were trying to induce tolerance by targeting only, for instance, the immune system, sometimes even only by targeting one particular cells, even though they are very important. I was thinking about the Tregs. It was the Nobel Prize of this year, so I'm not denying that they are super important. I wouldn't do it in front of Nina, because I know that she loves these cells, and I do love too. These cells, but as you put it, Nina, that's exactly that. You probably need to combine this approach with a modification of the graft that would make them less immunogenic, and then suddenly maybe the things that were not working when it was used alone might be much more interesting. We could even change a little bit the way we were seeing tolerance when we were 20 years ago, where we were thinking that we need to educate the immune system. We could maybe also modify the graft to make this graft resistant to some type of rejection that we are not very good at controlling, like the antibody-mediated rejection, for instance. And yes, like you said, combining the things, being robust, not putting the money on only one single option is probably the way forward whenever you want to achieve something ambitious.
Yeah, so it's the clinicians being ready to try something new, even if 1 year survival rates are great, and us basic scientists to not get carried away by the curiosity of the idea, but really do something that also in the near future, like, can help the patients.
I think
But
we need basic scientists that are carried away because they are creating the future. We need clinicians that are interested only in what is going to happen next week to their patients, and we need a lot of people in the middle so that we fill all the gaps. And I think that since we are all different and we are living in a very big territory, which is Europe, with a different countries, different culture, different people, different interests, ESOT is sufficiently big to welcome all these people. And if we work together, I think we will be on the safe side.
Yeah, and I think you perfectly introduced the next question.
Yeah, so we made more or less a question that is very linked to that. So this is very strategic, I have to say, because
must say that I don't know
yeah.
the question. I'm just
No, yeah.
No, we are not cheating.
Yeah, it was just a perfect matching, I have to say. Unbiased, perfect matching. So we were thinking that exactly what you said. So transplantation requires an orchestra of scientists, surgeons, nurses, policymakers, but also complementary field, as you mentioned. No? So if you could describe ESOT as a symphony, what instrument or section needs the strongest voice right now, and which needs to listen more?
Again, I think that what the beauty of the symphony is that you don't have only one instrument playing loud and covering the rest. Otherwise, it would be boring. And what is the beauty of the symphony is the integration of all its elements into something that, as Nina put it, is bigger than the single player. And yes, of course, having my own interest in life, I could say that I think that ESOT needs to put more emphasis on basic science, integrate more basic scientists, because the three of us are doing some basic science, and we all know how much it can bring to the picture. But this would be, I think, also forgetting that there are many things that we don't know that are not at the center of our own interest, but are still very important for the patients who are taking care of them. So I think that, again, I give the feeling that I'm always answering a little bit, not directly to the question, but as a real politician, which I am not. But I think that I think that the idea of the orchestra is very good. The idea of the symphony is exactly the way I see ESOT. And if you want to listen to a good symphony, I'm pretty sure that all the one that I loved, they are not putting emphasis on a single instrument. They are making sure that every single instrument has its own part. So it's true that sometimes to time you hear one more than the others, but on the duration of the symphony, they all have something to do. And you need good musicians everywhere. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You could have picked the football team as an Italian too. It works.
Yeah, that can be also. It could have been an option, I have to say.
Well, with an Austrian, we need to speak Italian and Austrian make better sense to speak about symphony. I agree.
But here in Austria, we have a great tradition of big symphonies and orchestras, and as we know, you also need a great conductor to make the whole orchestra perform in a really brilliant way.
Yeah, well, I don't see myself as the conductor. I think that, as I said, I'm merely there to. It's an honorific position. Honestly, I think ESOT is, or maybe what I should say is that if there is a conductor, it's also a lot due to the job of the office that is actually structuring what we are doing. For the rest, we are, as I said, all contributing, and the autonomy. I mean, if you look at this big symphonic orchestra, these people that are playing, they are not beginners, right? They are professionals. And yes, you need some coordination, but professionalism is not coming from the guy conducting the girl conducting the orchestra. It's just the group of people that is making the magic real.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as a professional, I totally agree that one-man show is not the future right now. So maybe it's like collectivity is I totally agree with this message. So But on behalf of the fellow, and I think if I can mention myself as a young scientist still now, but I want just to make like a question related to the young community and young professionals. So that I think that's the future of the society. So what advice do you have for young investigators that are sort of navigating in the fragmented Europe research landscape? And how can ESOT can help in creating a career path?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I absolutely agree on what you said. I think that the young investigators, whoever they are clinicians or scientists, they are the future of the society. They need to be nurtured. They need to feel welcome. And it's true that one of the problems we have in Europe is the fact that maybe for people starting in the field, it could look like we are separated the one from the other. I think that it's very much something that is perceived that way, but that has not real truth in it. And as soon as you start interacting with your colleagues from other countries, you realize how close they are from you. Even if culturally we are a little bit different, it's actually never a problem. And I think that ESOT is very aware of this problem and has created several successful way for young investigators in Europe in transplantation to build its own European network and start developing his ideas at the European level, at the supranational level. It starts with Esper's course. It's something you can start quite early in your career. It's just it's giving you a very nice overview of what is transplantation from clinical to basic science, and it's also a way to meet your fellow from the same stage in your same career stage from all over Europe. I have fond memories of my own Esper's course like 15 years ago. And I think that I really encourage the young people interested in transplantation in Europe to enroll for this program. And then we have other type of proposition for them, like the mentorship, mentor-mentee, so they can enroll in this program that will link them to a more developed, more senior figure of transplantation in Europe from a different country, with whom they would have the opportunity to interact for years. They will receive feedback, advices. You also have the academia like a meeting where they will be told about the skills they need to present their work, which is also a key way of getting some attention, getting some feedback also about what you have published in the different congresses. So I think the program that ESOT, and actually the education committee of ESOT has put together for this particular audience is quite already developed. If anyone that is listening to this podcast has ideas of holes in that, they are more than welcome to send an email to me or anyone so that we can examine the new ideas. But I think that, I invite this young colleague to engage with us. They will be welcome. We are waiting for them, and we have already created a lot of things that were designed for them. We just need them to interact with us and to tell us exactly what they feel and if they're happy with this proposition or if they need this proposition to evolve.
Thank you. I mean, I think it's very important, your message, and encouraging for young investigators too. So this is a really good point.
Oh, I forgot to say something, Antonio. I forgot to say something very important. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you again, but it just came in my mind that I forgot one key point. One way, of course, a young colleague can develop his ideas to get funds. That's always the critical point. And the first grant is always the most difficult to get. And I want to stress that ESOT has put forward for a few years now a very ambitious grant policy. You have this ESOT fellowship that are quite well funded. There was one for basic science, another one for clinicians. And there are many other options for young people that want to travel and attend an ESOT Congress or an ESOT training activity. So please go on the website, check out what are the propositions. Don't hesitate to put forward your candidacy. You have good chances to get your funds. Sorry, Antonio, that was important.
No, absolutely. That was very important to highlight because it's an opportunity for everybody that wants to increase their opportunity, I have to say, of collaboration and also get funded. I can confirm that the first grant is really the highest breaking one, no? And then
Exactly.
you can get like this opportunity that is important. So I have the very last question that we left as the most important challenge one. So be prepared about that.
Again, I'm exhausted already.
But it's the last. You made it almost.
Okay.
So if you could paint a picture of ESOT 5 years from now, what does it look like? And what breakthroughs would define this new era?
Oh, this is a very tough one. In 5 years from now, what I can already tell is that I would not be the president anymore. I would not even be the past president. So I would be out of my duty. And I wish in 5 years from now, I wish that we will collectively have been successful in implementing the plan that we had in mind, which means that ESOT would be leading the field in transplantation worldwide. And the breakthrough, well, this is very difficult. I wasn't prepared for this one. But I think that maybe the beauty of it is that precisely, I don't know what the future is going to be. And I'm quite optimistic that it's going to be it's going to be good. And I think it's important probably to say just this, because we hear a lot of bad things about the future, a lot of collapsologist people thinking that we are going to disappear, that everything is set, that there's nothing to do, we just need to wait and collapse and disappear. I disagree with this vision. And that's, again, what I like about robustness. I think that if you look at nature is able to overcome a lot of things that you would consider as being, completely impossible to overcome. So I think that if we are robust, whatever is going to happen in the next 5 years, which I can't predict, not better than you probably, what I'm sure is that if we are able to be robust, if we are able to work together, we will still be there, we will still do transplantation, still take care of patients, and we will be happy to do this job. And that would be my answer to your difficult question.
Thanks so much. That's a really positive way to put it. I think we were going rather than who would win the race. It's the xenotransplantation or the artificial organs. And I think it's hard to say. I don't know if in 5 years any of them are in the clinics. And I'm pretty sure they are not like in routine clinical use. So I think what you mentioned and taking all our fields and expertise together would have the greatest impact for also the patients.
Exactly.
So, Olivier, thank you so much for sharing your insights and also your ambitious plans for ESOT's future. Really appreciate that you took the time. And as you said, it's not a job for one man or one woman. Every member of ESOT is invited to help us with this bright vision and to bring himself to join a committee or to apply for one of the fellowships. So I'm really hoping for lots of involvement from our members in the next years. And thanks to all of our listeners for tuning in to our podcast today, where science, innovation, and community meet. So don't forget to subscribe and join us for the next episode, which will be, and I can so say as much as that, a best of episode from the best papers published in TI in the last year, and our fellows will have the honor to introduce them to you. So stay tuned. Thanks, Antonio. Thanks, Olivier.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Antonio.
Thank you.